NFTs, what they are and why you should care.
Now we have Russell Korus, CEO and co-founder of EZ365, and he's going to be talking about NFTs, what they are, and why you should care.
Hello, my name is Russell Korus, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about NFTs, including the most important part, how they're going to change your life. When I tell the story of NFTs, I like to start at the beginning. I know, what a concept. In this case, the beginning is the term, NFT, or non-fungible token. When I first heard the word fungible, I thought, that doesn't sound right. Fungible? No, that's even worse. Is there a third option? Because neither of these sound like actual English words. But it is fungible, and it means interchangeable and divisible. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's forget about the digital world for a second and think about the physical world. In the physical world, we have fungible assets like dollars. Dollars are interchangeable in that if I hand you a $10 bill and you hand me back 10 ones, there is never any value exchange in that transaction. Oh, there we go. The white button. Aha, okay. Dollars are also divisible in that they can be broken out into smaller units called cents, and the sum of the parts is always equal to the whole. Now contrast that with non-fungible assets like fine art. You cannot exchange the Mona Lisa for something of identical value because there is nothing of identical value because it's a one of a kind. And if you cut the Mona Lisa in half, the sum of the parts will definitely not equal the whole. Now let's look at the digital world. In the digital world, we have fungible tokens like Bitcoin and Ethereum. When you buy Bitcoin, you don't care which one you get because they're all worth the same, so it doesn't matter. And Bitcoin can also be broken down into smaller units which hold constant proportional value. Now contrast that with non-fungible tokens like art and collectibles, each of which has its own unique value and its own unique characteristics. But the point is this, NFTs are cryptocurrencies. An NFT minted on the ERC 1155 or ERC 721 standard is fundamentally no different than the thousands of ERC 20 tokens issued over the past 6 years. The only difference being, each one has its own unique value and its own unique characteristics. Now, since NFTs are just a flavor of cryptocurrency, that means that they reside on the blockchain. And that means that they are imbued with two very special characteristics. The first is immutability. When data is written to the blockchain, it can never be altered or deleted. You know with absolute certainty that you can rely on the validity of that data. There is not even the possibility of fraud, corruption, manipulation, or even just honest mistake. The second characteristic is transparency. All NFTs, just like all cryptocurrencies and all wallets holding them, reside on blockchains, which are simply public ledgers visible to anyone at any time. And it is at this intersection of immutability and transparency where the magic of blockchain occurs. Because one of the consequences of this marriage is trustlessness, which means that the concept of trust doesn't even enter into this equation. I mean, think about it. You can send Bitcoin to a complete stranger over the internet, halfway around the world, directly, peer-to-peer, with no third party to validate, no bank, no PayPal, no Western Union, and yet you can have complete confidence in the validity of that transaction. You cannot claim to have sent it if you didn't. The other party cannot claim to not have received it if they did, because both of you can go onto the blockchain and view the confirmed transaction for yourselves. That is what is meant by the term trustless. When lying becomes impossible, trust becomes unnecessary. Now, one of the consequences of this trustless architecture is you have guaranteed authenticity. And that's why art was one of the first natural use cases for NFTs. Even Christie's and Sotheby's, with all of their acclaimed experts, often inadvertently sell forgeries. But this is impossible with NFTs. You cannot issue a fake NFT and pass it off as the real thing, the same way you cannot issue a fake Bitcoin and pass it off as the real thing. You also have guaranteed scarcity. So when you buy an NFT that is a one of one, you know with absolute certainty that there is not and can never be another NFT just like it. And yes, while it is technically possible to right-click that image and remint it, the blockchain makes verification of authenticity possible in seconds. Thirdly, you have guaranteed ownership. Because every transaction is recorded on the blockchain, it makes discerning the rightful owner of every NFT very easy. This also makes selling stolen NFTs, especially high-profile ones, exceedingly difficult. And that's why art, again, was one of the main use cases initially for this technology. I believe that every piece of physical art on Earth should come with a corresponding NFT, if only to register provenance on the blockchain. And that's really the whole point to all this. The digital world, the virtual world, is not meant to replace the physical world, it's meant to enhance it. Now let's look at another real world use case, real estate. Every piece of land on Earth is non-fungible. Every plot of land is unique, at least in terms of the GPS coordinates. And even in a subdivision where you have plots of land in a row all the same size, they're each still unique. Some might back onto a ravine, some might back onto a swamp, and some might have gold or diamonds underneath, so they can have dramatically different value. Real estate is something that my company is actively working on, and we're trying to move the mortgage transaction onto the blockchain, utilizing NFTs for documentation, moving as much of the smart contract, as much of the legal into the smart contract as possible, and utilizing DeFi for mortgage and insurance. And this is what really excites me, is that this process in North America will mean more efficiency, more security, and more privacy focused. But in many parts of the world, the difference is much more profound. In many parts of the world, all the record keeping is done on paper. So if a government office gets flooded and all the paperwork gets destroyed, good luck proving you own the land you live on. So in many parts of the world, registering land ownership on the blockchain can have profound implications in terms of empowering entire communities and increasing societal trust. And this is what gets me excited, because it's disrupting traditional industries. I love art and have an extensive art collection. I love collectibles, and I'm heavily into NBA Top Shot and others, and I love metaverse land. And it's these three pillars that have brought NFTs to where they are today. And it's really remarkable to think how far we've come in just a year and a half. In October of 2020, hardly anyone, even within the crypto community, knew or cared what NFTs were. When I first got into crypto, I used to say that one day in crypto is like 2 weeks in the real world, and that still applies. But one day in NFTs is like 2 weeks in crypto. It's like that movie Interstellar, when they got stuck on that one planet for an extra hour and 17 years went by on Earth. So I'm very grateful for what NFTs have been to this point, but I'm infinitely more excited about where NFTs will go next, when they are disrupting not only real estate, but supply chain, manufacturing, food production and distribution, and virtually every other industry. Very soon, sooner than anyone realizes, everyone will be owning and using NFTs. Ticketing will likely be the first mass adoption use case, and within a couple of years, all movie theaters, sporting events, concerts, conferences, airline tickets, every type of ticket will be in the form of an NFT. Coupons and all manner of customer loyalty programs will not be far behind. So mass adoption is coming very fast. Now that may seem aggressive until you look at this. This article is from 2000. So within 20 years of an editor allowing this headline to go to print, everyone was using email and internet and had a smartphone. So paradigm shifts can happen very quickly. I started my career in 1995 just as the internet was starting to take off. Windows 95 had just come out, the first Netscape Navigator had just come out, and I knew that this technology was going to change the world. But I couldn't imagine things like Uber, Airbnb, or the ubiquity of smartphones. So paradigm shifts can happen very quickly. And I see the same parallels today with crypto and NFTs. Very soon, this will be a regular part of everybody's life. And I firmly believe that over the next 20 years, this technology will have a greater impact on our life than the internet has had over the last 20. But one thing I can predict, and that has remained constant throughout, is the concept of the sooner the better. This was certainly true of the internet. Eventually, everyone got on board, but the sooner you got there, the better off you were. And if you were a real early adopter, maybe you even managed to buy some Amazon shares early on. Very soon, NFTs and this technology will be as much a part of our normal life as the internet is today. But the sooner you get there, the better off you'll be. So if you haven't done so already, I encourage you to take the plunge. Come on into this amazing new world of NFTs. It's incredible here. Thank you very much. You can reach out to me on Telegram at NFT King. Thank you.